I just want to invest in people that really want to be the best that they can be.
Hello, everyone. It's Todd Scrima and the lovely Robyn LaVassaur and the GOAT, Jim Reed. Jimmy, I'm not sure how you get the GOAT and she gets beautiful, but it's just it's the world we live in. We're doing a loan officer podcast. This month, we thought we'd do a third, or Jimmy subtitle was Good, Bad, and the Ugly. And this is just some different ways to think about clientele. And I always think about, I was talking to someone last week and I said, I'm going to give you a construct of how to think about something. So a construct would be the English language. That construct is how we communicate. Construct would be 1 + 2 = 2 or 3. Sorry. 1 + 2 = 3. That's a math construct. So this is a construct on how to think about clients, customers that we do loans for. So Robyn, why don't you give us an overview and then we'll do some opinions on this because I think it's a very juicy topic.
I think I actually learned this from the GOAT. So I think, Jimmy, you're the one that says it all the time and teach it really well in next level coaching. And we often bring our loan officers back to this. And so think about this right now. If this is sometimes logic, actually all the time, logic generally can trump emotion, right? And so when you're feeling emotional about a client, if you pause for a minute and think, gosh, this was a different third than I had hoped for. And so the thirds break up like this. A third of your clients will love you, use you, be Jim Reed fans for life. A third of them will shop you, use you for information, and likely leave you. And a third won't qualify. And what that really does in all of it, and so you could call it the good, the bad, the ugly, if you will, but what it really means is that, there's this saying that we all say, and that's basically more leads wins. And the reason is that if you have a third, and you only got 10 leads for the month, you're for sure not closing 10 deals. And I think that sometimes our expectation is that more deals should be going through. And it's been a tougher market in the last 9 months. And I think a lot of loan officers' expectations are forgetting the rules of the third. And if they created more leads, they would still get a great result if they thought about the third that were going to stay. Jimmy, what are your thoughts?
Well, yeah. So the good, the bad, the ugly is because I'm a big Clint Eastwood fan, and that was the name of one of his movies. Okay, that's where it comes from. So it's not really that they're good, they're bad, or they're ugly. It's not about that. It's just a movie I watched, but it made me think of tracking top producers for 20 years, like these numbers. I'm not guessing. I swear, I'm positive. If you put every single lead you ever get, whether they qualify or not, whether they'll call you back or not, on a sheet, a third of them are fun but hopeless. That's the kind of the ugly thing, like fun but hopeless. That's like, they're on Social Security, they want to buy a house, their house payment's $250, and they want to buy a house. Don't tell me you have never talked to one of those people. Have you? And they want to keep you on the phone for like a long time. They're just listen, not everybody is going to own a home. They're just not. And they just don't qualify, and they're not willing to do the work to buy a house. For whatever reason, no judgment, it's fine. There's an upside to renting. You don't have to pay to fix nothing. Right? There's an upside. I'm not saying it's one I approve of, but those are people who just right now or in the future probably aren't going to buy a house. And then there's the ones that use you for information. And in general, we say 20% of your people are going to shop you no matter what. But in the last year, it's been way more. And it probably will continue to be for another 10 months or so. And that's the bad, right? They double app you. You ever go to Title, Robyn, and 2 sets of docs show up?
It has only happened to me 2 times in my entire career.
But it's happened, right? Imagine if you didn't have your skills and go through your process, how many more times it would have happened.
I actually would bet a lot. And how sad is that, right? It's crazy that a borrower would, 1, put their own effort into that, but then 2, that 2 lenders are working side by side, not even maybe realizing that they're competing.
Not even knowing it because the process doesn't have any barriers to entry. It's Econ 100B in school. The process has no barriers to entry. So it's like, why wouldn't I? Oh, $500? Like when I first started doing loans and my loan amount was 200, 500 was some money. When your loan amount is 650, not that much money. It's really not. So that's the bad, right? They're like, hey man, like they use you for information, they shop you. That's about a third of them. And a third of them, they're referred and they're like, tell me what I got to do. And so what happens when your loans, your amount of loans closing goes down, and you can read any sales book. I'm telling you, Jeff Gitomer, Red Book of Sales. You can read any sales book. It'll tell you in any industry, in any corporation, when scarcity happens, people focus on conversion. And the opposite is true. They should focus on getting
acquisition.
More leads. Yes. But they focus on conversion, and then they blame company, employees, processors, rates. I don't know who else. But it's because they're focused on conversion. And I've tracked this stuff for a long time. And like 35 to 40% of your leads should go to pre-approval, 20 to 25%, and the number is 22. 20 to 25% of your leads will go to closing. So if you're hitting that, what should you focus on?
Just more leads.
If you're not hitting that, you should focus on conversion a little bit. Like you're probably not creating a relationship, right? You're not like meeting with clients. Like you guys are going to get me started on something that's going to fire me up, right? So some of my loan officers are like, I'm like, how long do you spend with your clients? They're like 20 minutes. I'm like, listen, are the Republicans and Democrats getting along right now? Is there a war in Russia? Are you afraid it might bleed on us? Is there hyperinflation? I mean, all those things true? Does it feel like you should buy a house?
Well, we would all say yes because we're in the market. But...
No, you're scared, dude. So like you need to spend some time with someone who knows what they're talking about and go through the process and like educate, communicate, right? Like leads are gold. If you do that, you can still hit 22 and 35 or 40. If you don't, you'll hit about 18 and about 20, 22.
Well, and don't you find that like it's so interesting you talk about that book. People get so fixated on conversion that they hold on for dear life to one lead or two leads or three leads for the month, and they don't go generate additional leads knowing the third rule exists. Where to me, I'm like, man, if you remember that in your head, you've got to look down and just go, I don't have enough, right? If a third of these are going to stay with me and I only have three, it's not enough. I gotta go get some more.
But you're getting deep now. What you're talking about is the difference between confidence and self-belief. Confidence is temporary. Self-belief is permanent. If your confidence is shaken, you don't focus on the right things. If you have self-belief, you focus on the right things. Right? You're easily led if you're just based on confidence. You're not easily led if you have self-belief. You'll weather the storm. And I am just telling you, 27 years, it's 35 to 40 go to pre-approval, 20 to 28 go to close. Period. If you're in that realm, go get more leads. If you're not, get coached and work on a better process.
So let me ask you guys a question. That construct of how to think about leads and being realistic in your approach is, I think, very simple and very insightful. It's like the simplest things in life are usually what works, right? So with that said, what percentage, we're in this market for roughly a year, probably got another year to go. We came out of 2 years of unbelievable where hopefully people save some money, but now that savings is running out. What if people don't make these changes and work on these skills, what percentage will be here in a year? That's an open-ended question. What percentage of loan officers will still be in the business?
Robyn?
I personally think that the industry on the whole is possibly going down by another 30 or 40%. I really believe that from where it is essentially now. I believe that there is still a lot of fallout to be had. And I hope, knock on wood, or I know the people that focus on lead generation, on their skills, on their client meetings, like Jimmy just said. I know they're the ones that are going to come out on the other side. I think a lot of people are ultimately not going to continue to weather the storm that we believe that there is out there. What do you think, Jimmy?
Jim?
Yeah, you say a third? Yeah, so like, what I was saying, like I've been saying for over a year, is people look for money in all the wrong places, right? So things get tough and they're like, oh, my company's making too much money. Oh, this guy, like, they look for money in all the wrong places. And the formula that I've always said, and I learned it somewhere, is your focus multiplied by your action equals your result. So if your focus is on the wrong things, right, it's one of the only two factors in your results. So you're messed up, right? So, like, when is it coldest? Like, when is it coldest? In a 24-hour period, when is it coldest?
In the middle of the night.
Nope.
Early in the
That's
morning.
what everybody thinks, Todd. It's right after the sun comes up. Look it up. So, does the market change slowly or like a faucet? Does it change quickly or slowly?
Depends on the circumstance.
Change quickly.
Yeah.
It changes quickly. Like, how quickly, Todd?
Faucet's almost totally off, then the spigot gets turned back on. You're like, oh my God, where's the sun's out again?
In both directions.
Yeah.
It's unbelievably so many loans to, oh my God, where's the loans? And then there's, oh my God, where's the loans? To, oh my God, there's unbelievable loans. Y'all been in the business a long time. Do you agree or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, dude, I've been through it 4 times. I'm not guessing at any of this crap. So, like, the coldest part is going to be right before the spigot turns on. So the coldest part is this winter. And that's why I think at least 25% of the loan officers that are currently struggling through it in the summer because it picked back up aren't going to make it. So a year and 2 months ago, I said, our job is to outlast them.
I agree with that. I would also say that we do tend to be in an industry, and I think a lot of industries are like this, where someone will do it for 3-4 years, and then they do something else for 3-4 years, then they do something else for 6 years. That has been a process.
Always been like that.
Well, I think it's, if you go back to like my stepdad worked for the Forest Service and retired from the Forest Service after 30 years. That was much more common 30, 40, 50 years ago. It's not common these days. People will do something for a while and then change, and then do something for a while and then change again. I mean, look at your friends and family. I was just with a family member this weekend. He's had about 8 jobs in 4 years. Not exaggerating. 8 different professions. And I was telling him, dude, you're going to have to focus on one eventually so that you can get real skills and make some real money.
Yeah. Tough to be good at anything without duration.
Yeah. It's funny, though. You are right, Todd. I think stability, maybe another podcast day, but stability is not currently meaning long-term, right? It's not as sexy, if you will, right? There's so much out there. There's so much noise out there that gets people distracted from just being really good at what they're going to do. And anybody's going to be uber successful. If you're generating 50 leads a month and you're following a great routine, you're going to have a beautiful mortgage career. I guarantee it, no matter what.
Yeah. Can I add on that? Like, if your conversion rate's 22%, go to closing, right? If it's 20, every 10 leads is 2 closings, right? Every 20 leads is 4. Depending on your market, you're going to make between $2,500 and $4,000 alone, right? Where else can you do that? The problem is, focus on the wrong things, and you don't go get the leads, so you don't get the closings, and then you're working at Home Depot. I'm just telling you, if you get a lead a day, referred lead every business day as an originator, and you meet with them all in person and you spend an hour with them,
you're good.
You're probably going to you're probably going to make it.
Yeah,
You're
Jim,
probably going to do better than all your friends.
yeah, your point is that loan officer is going to make 150 to 200 grand a year
At least.
in a hard market. You know, so I'll say one other thing, then we got to wrap up. My son, 17-year-old son's looking for a summer job. So last week we spent about an hour and a half on Indeed.com, which is a job search site. I believe it's the most popular one. And it was interesting because we were just looking at jobs in Sacramento, all kinds of jobs. We must have looked at 300-400 of them. And there was a lot of dishwasher, there was a lot of fast food, there was a lot of servers, bartenders, truck drivers. There was very few skilled labor jobs, very few. I remember a couple nursing ones. One was for a CEO. Like I remember a few out of a few hundred. So my point in bringing that up is we're in a great profession. If people can just realize that and then go do the work, which is what you're saying, life's pretty good. Like you may break even. Maybe you're not saving a lot of money, but you're paying the bills in the toughest market we've seen in 30 years.
In our business and make 100 grand a year.
What's that?
You cannot be great at our business and make 100 to 150 grand a year. Imagine if you focused on it.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had good mentors. Imagine if you had a process. Imagine if you woke up every day and knew what you were going to do every day and you stuck to it. Imagine.
People that do that are going to continue to do really good, and in a good market, they're going to kill it and get back to super high income numbers. The ones that don't, that's the 30-40% that Robyn's alluding to. I think you're right on that number. I actually think it's higher. No. I'm not saying that to spread fear. It's statistical to me. We'll do 1.5 to 1.8 trillion this year in our industry. Wow. That's down from 4.4 trillion. A normal market used to be 1.8 trillion, but loan amounts have gone up 30%.
Yeah, so units is down even more. Units is down 75%. Like, just in case y'all didn't follow that, because he's really good at math, units is down 75%. We're literally going to do 25% of the units we did. And units is what people get paid on, just so you guys are clear. I know we get paid on volume, but no unit, no volume.
Yes.
No unit, no volume. And if you discount your unit, no income.
Exactly.
Like, this is not there's some, the people who've done the work and listened, they're starting to do some loans, right? And I'm like, did you think it would be easy to make a lot of money in a tough market? Like, did you think it would be easy? It's not. It's not for the faint at heart. It's not for a weak stomach. It's not. And I'm super stoked about that. I have to be honest, because my stomach is solid.
Yeah, it is. Whenever you go through periods like this in any industry, the strong, super committed ones, or people that are just dumb like me and like, that's the only thing I know how to do, then those are the ones that tend to make it, right? They're super committed. I got a couple of the total off topic. I've got an acquaintance couple of mine, and they just filed for divorce. And they can't even have a conversation, let alone be in love. Like, can't even talk. I'm like, that ain't going to work. You don't have the skills to be in relationship. You don't have the skills. You can't even, like, he raises his voice, she raises it higher. He raises his voice, he goes higher. She says something mean, he says something twice as mean. I'm like, y'all didn't even understand basic conflict. Like, you can't just keep escalating each other and just have a yell fest for 30 minutes and forget even what you're yelling about. And it's kind of that, if you take that metaphor to a business where you're like, hey, I've got to know how to sell. I've got to know how to meet my clients. I got to know how to do a professional loan presentation. I got to know how to target market. I got to know how to do the two-step close. I got to add more value. I got to give them a book as a gift, right? Because some people's love language is gift. You got to be so good right now, so good that that's the separator.
You have to earn your money. Is that what you're saying?
What's that?
You have to earn your money.
Yeah, you actually got to work. We actually got to work. It's important. Okay. Listen, guys, we got to close out. We're talking about a third, the good, bad, and the ugly. It's a great conversation. It's a construct for how to think about things. And Jim said it the best. If you focus on the right things, you will get the result. If you focus on the wrong things, which is super easy to do, and I get it, and I've been guilty of that myself. Like, oh, the economy, oh, the this, oh, the government, oh, COVID. Well, how about, oh, just go get some loans. Like, he or she who makes the most sales calls and meets the most people always wins. That's why the shooters in the NBA finals, the star is 0 for 7, and he ends the game with 32 points because he keeps shooting.
Yep.
You're right.
It is.
Okay, guys, have a great month. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Robyn. Bye, guys.